degrees, advanced degrees, both in India as well as in Canada, decided, rather than embarking on a prosperous career with his degrees, he decided to take his experience, his knowledge, his expertise, and to use it in the service of the nation and the world. He spent many years with the RSS in India, serving the nation. There's probably no organization in the world that better embodies that message of service than the RSS. After doing that in India, he then, for more than 15 years, has been a selfless servant of humanity. Living here in America, but traveling throughout the country, throughout the Caribbean, and throughout so many other countries. As a sevak, a swayam sevak, means not just I'm doing the service, but myself, my own being, is in service of the Dharma, of the nation, and of the world, because that's what Hinduism is about. Vasudev Kutumbakam. The world is a family. So the Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh is in the service of our world family. And having Saumitra Gokhale ji here with us is a wonderful, wonderful joy. I will ask him to come forward and share with us great words of inspiration.
Puja Swamijis, other distinguished speakers on the dais, and all the divine souls in the audience. Namaste to all of you. I think in the panels we have two types of, or the sessions we have two types of speakers. One are those who are grihasthas, and then we have our sadhus and sannyasis. And I don't fit in either of them. Being a Sangha Pracharak, I'm not a grihastha, and I'm neither a sannyasi, and that's why I think they've asked me to speak in between. The message of Bhagavad Gita is eternal, but my time is not to eternity. I'm aware of that. And the next panel is going to be youth panel, so I'll be very to the point. My introduction to Bhagavad Gita was by my father, who forced me to by heart different chapters of Bhagavad Gita, starting from Bhakti Yoga and then the 15th chapter, which are the shorter ones. That time very reluctantly and many times very resentfully I would sit there, and I would resent because all of us, all brothers, because there were more interesting things we were missing by doing this. But then now I am very thankful and grateful to my father, and I tell him that it's because of that the interest in reading Bhagavad Gita, trying to understand the meaning of the Bhagavad Gita, it all started. So to all the parents in the audience who will be forcing their kids to do good things, I think don't feel bad about it. But when I started reading the meaning, and I once remember that my father took me to the famous Gita Jnana Yajna of Swami Chinmayananji in Pune. But I was very young, I couldn't understand what was being said. But one thing I understood, that the message is very profound. With the emphatic style of Swami Chinmayanandaji, that really made an impression on my mind. And then I started reading the Bhagavad Gita, the meaning. Then somebody told me to read Gita Rahasya by Lokmanya Tilak, and then many others. One thing that definitely stuck with me is the idea of Karma Yoga, selfless action. That you do it without any desire, you do it without any selfish motive, without expecting any results. But then my question was, that sounds good, but where will the motivation come from? How will I feel motivated to do if there is no desire, if there is no motive really? Because typically for human beings, they say there are three types of motives. Intention is putreshana, vitteshana, and lokeshana. That the desire for progeny, the desire for having resources, wealth, and the desire for some name, some recognition. These are very common human desires. But then without them being a karma yogi, so what is the answer from Bhagavad Gita? Then the answer I got is that you have to work for loka sangraha, for the welfare of the world, the welfare of or a higher purpose, higher good, greater good. So in the Bhagavad Gita 3rd chapter 20th shloka, Bhagavan says that loka sangraha mevapi sampashan kartum arhasi. So how do you now work for the entire world? Now entire working for the good of the entire world, not just a very big thing. Now growing up as a youth, then I thought that how to do it. But luckily for me, because I was involved in RSS shakas since my childhood, it gave me an opportunity to practice something. Because I got a little responsibility in my own little group. Okay, you are in charge of this little group, 7-8 people. Now I am thinking of 7-8 more people of my age or little younger than me. I am already thinking beyond myself. Something that is not my duty, something that I have chosen to do, and I am thinking beyond myself. And then I realized that if I continue into this path, this is an opportunity for me to become a karma yogi. I cannot say that this is a path of karma yoga. It's a path of karma for sure. But to become a karma yogi, it will take a while. It takes some practice. But definitely it will give me an opportunity. Now I would like to expand that to all voluntary organizations. And I'm sure many of us are part of various voluntary organizations. Because in other organizations, we have some structure and there's some sanction about how you get people to work. But in voluntary organizations, it is based upon motivating people. It is based upon how we can motivate people to do, greater good. Now, how this path of karma yoga can be practiced here? Starting from thinking about a smaller group, it can keep expanding until you can think about the entire world. And that's why it led me to this path of karma yoga. In the 16th chapter, the first 3 verses are there, which describe the divine qualities, divine virtues. And if you take any one of those 27 divine virtues, those are all useful while working in the society, in the community, with the people, whether it is in the family, whether it is in the neighborhood, whether it is in organizations. All these qualities really describe a right activist, a right worker, a right karyakarta, how he should be. If you take each one of them, it will explain. For example, there is a quality called apaishunam. Apaishunam means not or absence of fault finding, no backbiting. The first principle in leading anyone, leading a group or leading in an organization is that you must be able to see good in others. If you don't see good in others, we cannot work with people. If you only see faults in others, then we cannot become good workers. So Bhagavad Gita is saying that apaishunam is a divine quality. Then it says that adroho nati manita, that absence of hatred and absence of arrogance, vanity. And how can that be achieved while working in the society? It can be achieved by giving credit to the team. Always being part of a team, having the great spirit of being a team player and sharing the success with the entire team. Never taking success for only oneself. What I'm saying is that these are small, very, very practical things which can lead to these divine virtues. That's the point I'm trying to make. That adroha and nati manita can be practiced by becoming a good team leader, a team player. That is there. Like that, all these 26, 27 virtues that are there. And then, in the 17th chapter, there is different kinds of tapas. That you have to have a penance, sadhana. And 2 I would like to mention, one is about the mind and one is about the speech. And this is applicable in, as I said, in the families, organizations, anywhere. The first one is that if you really want to motivate people, if you really want to take people along, then what kind of personality should we have? What kind of countenance should we have? It says, Mana Prasada Saumyatvam. And that whole sloka goes, Maunam Atma Vinigraha and Bhava Samshuddhrityeta Tapo Manasa Machate. So what it is saying that you have to have a very pleasant disposition and purity of mind and tremendous amount of determination, firmness, and that kind of quality of mind only will you be able to lead people, only will you be able to motivate people. Because people are not motivated if you are always agitated, angry and sad and somber. People like to work with people who are enthusiastic, who are pleasant in their countenance and all that. That's why having that kind of mindset, that kind of frame of mind is something which is the tapa, the penance of the mind. And then the penance of the speech is there. Anudveka karam vakyam satyam priyetam chayat. I'm forgetting again. That's okay. So what it is saying that speech that is not creating any kind of agitation, which is truthful as well as pleasant. And that kind of speech is what is the speech that a karyakarta should have, an activist should have, to be able to work with people, to take people along. In our community, we always see that many times divisions and factions, and I was so glad when Dr. Mihir Meghani mentioned that for the past 13 years they have had none. So where does it all start from? If each and every person working in that organization, each and member of the family, if starts practicing these, the top of the mind and top of the speech, and then we can become more and more successful. So having that greater purpose, and then having that sankalpa to change myself, and at every step, making sure that I am trying to become, these divine qualities I'm trying to get inside me. Only then we are going to succeed, and that has been my experience. I myself, I try to practice all these things, try to remind myself, if I do a mistake, I will go and ask for forgiveness, because that is another divine quality, to be kshami, somebody who is forgiving. I can make mistakes, but can I go and ask for forgiveness? And can I forgive others as well, if they make mistakes? So these kind of divine qualities, and on the path of Karma Yoga, being active in this kind of selfless work, voluntary work, it's a great opportunity for us to become Karma Yogis. And my experience, the last one that I'm going to mention is, that we speak about Bhagavan, if we are true devotees and we totally surrender ourselves to the Lord, then Bhagavan gives the assurance that Yoga Kshemam Vahamyam, that I am going to take care of all your needs, your welfare, material and spiritual. And I myself, while traveling in many of these countries, have experienced this. For me, like Swami Vivekananda says, this entire society is God. It's worshipping the Virat, as Swami Vivekananda used to say, worshipping everybody around you. Worshipping the Virat means worshipping the sum total of humanity and beyond. So for me, that is Samashti Dev. That is God in the form of millions. Whether it be some tribal villages in India that I have visited, or small cities in Venezuela, or in a small island called Bali in Indonesia, wherever I have gone, in humble huts to big palatial bungalows, without knowing people, without knowing who I am going to meet, the society has taken care of me. Whenever I feel that I have actually fully surrendered, in those moments, God has come in the form of someone and taken care of me. That has been my experience again and again, and I feel very, very fortunate about it. And that is why this experience of Yoga Kshemam Mahamyam, each one of us can get if we have that kind of surrender of mind, total surrender in front of God, whichever Ishta Devata that you have chosen. And that's why, as I said in the beginning, that because Samashti Dev is my Ishta Devata, the Samashti Dev has taken care of me. And to my God, in the form of these millions and millions, including the 100 sitting in this hall, I bow in tremendous reverence and continue to offer my service with all humility and urge all of you to be on this path of Karma Yoga, to be Karma Yogis, because being a Karma Yogi starts by some training, transforming and then transcending. Let us all transcend to that level of Karma Yoga in our own lives. Namaste.
Thank you so much, Saumitra Gokhale ji, for your words and mostly for your life in service. He is a great, great inspiration of people who use their time, their talents, their experience, their energy, their expertise in the service of the world. And I hope that many, many, many follow in your footsteps. We now have a panel of youth.